There are many Japanese aesthetic and philosophical concepts that can lead to personal growth and self-improvement. Hi, I'm Josh, and welcome back to Shizen Style. Here are my top 5 concepts that have had the greatest influence and impact on my life, as well as helping me establish a Shizen lifestyle. These aren't really in any particular order, but the last one may have the most impactful benefit on your life. The first concept is Omoiyari. The phrase Omoiyari is commonly translated to empathy, but it actually goes deeper than that, extending into altruism. In Japanese culture, the concept of empathy and consideration is called Omoiyari. Omoi means thought. Yari is derived from yaru, which means to give or send. So it literally means to give your thoughts to others. Omoiyari can be defined as the sympathy and empathy for others that leads to thoughtful action. The main points are anticipating someone's needs and providing for them in advance. In this sense, it's similar to omotenashi, often found in service industries where you anticipate the needs of the customers. To practice omoiyari, you need to put yourself in someone else's shoes and anticipate their needs without them having to ask for it. As I mentioned, omoiyari is empathy and altruism, or selflessness. Altruism is the act or desire to provide for someone in need without the expectation of a reward. Some examples of this are speaking quietly in public, like on a train, and cleaning up after yourself in public areas, as we've seen recently after major sporting events like the Olympics or World Cup games. The second Japanese concept for personal growth is Uketamo. I first learned of this concept after interviewing Tim Bunting, a Yamabushi, or mountain aesthetic. He's from the little-known Dewa Sanzan mountain range in northern Japan. Since the 8th century, it has been the sacred pilgrimage site for the Yamabushi monks, who undergo rituals connecting their mind, body, and spirit with nature and seeking an awakening. Uketamo sums up the core principle of their training. The literal translation is, "I humbly accept with an open heart." Uketamo means complete acceptance of your situation. The sooner you can accept all the good and bad things life throws at you, the lighter you'll feel. So, you lose your job? Uketamo. The weather suddenly changes to lightning, and now you have to cancel your kayaking trip. Uketamo. You're out hiking and make it all the way to the top of the mountain, only to have to walk back down in a sudden downpour and thunderstorm. Uketamo. The Yamabushi learned this concept of acceptance in nature, where you learn quickly that you have no control over many things, so you have to accept them in order to continue. You can't change the things that are out of your control. You have to embrace the situation and deal with it. You don't have to like the situation, but you have to accept it so you can creatively problem solve with a blank slate and a clear, focused mind. The next concept, mono no aware, describes having empathy for things and their inevitable passing. It reminds us that nothing in life is permanent. We need to willingly let go of our attachments to transient things. It is the awareness that everything in existence is temporary. The fleetingness of youth and growing old, the fading of romance, and the changing of seasons shouldn't sadden us. Instead, cherish and appreciate their impermanence. This is where their beauty comes from. The cherry blossoms are a perfect example of this. In Japan, their short-lived flowering beauty has come to be a symbol of mono no aware. While Mono no Aware sort of has a sense of melancholy associated with it, it isn't sadness, but rather a deeply felt emotion that comes over you when you realize how important it is to embrace the moment. It's the moment that needs to be appreciated. Another Japanese concept for self-improvement is Shu-Ha-Ri mastery. Shu-Ha-Ri is a philosophical concept relating to the mastery of skills and techniques. It is often used in regards to the martial arts, but is related to many different cultural traditions like the tea ceremony, flower arrangement, pottery, etc. In reality, it can be applied to anything involving learning, including life, spiritual development, or business. For me personally, I connected with this philosophy through shakuhachi bamboo flute playing and photography. In shakuhachi, I have a teacher I learned from one-on-one, and I have gone through the various stages of mastery. Let's look at these 3 stages in detail. You should know, though, that they are actually more of an organic process, not necessarily an exact stage that you're at. Shu-Ha-Ri. Learn the basics, imitate, then innovate. Shu. Here we are learning the basics, protecting, obeying. This is traditional wisdom, learning the fundamentals and basic techniques. Everything is new. Thus, you are mainly just absorbing. The second part of the path is Ha. So detach, digress, breaking with tradition. Detachment from the illusions of self, to break with tradition, to find exceptions to traditional wisdom, to find new approaches. Leave, separate, transcend. This is transcending tradition. You're no longer focusing on techniques. All of your moves are natural. This is where traditional wisdom and intuition merge, becoming one with your spirit without clinging to forms. With Shu-Ha-Ri mastery, you're not striving for perfection. You're putting forth your best effort and then allowing the cards to fall where they may. This often takes many years, but it's a natural process. You cannot really be creative and connect the dots between seemingly unrelated ideas until you have fully gone through the process of imitating and learning the rules first, often with the guidance of a teacher. The final and possibly most impactful Japanese life concept is Ikigai. We can use Ikigai to figure out what drives us, brings us joy, and allows us to wake up in the morning with a sense of purpose. Ikigai is a Japanese style of motivational structure for drive. You may be familiar with the Ikigai diagram out there that's floating around, but this doesn't represent the real meaning behind Ikigai. Real Ikigai isn't a few overlapping circles of what you like to do and what you can get paid for. Borrowing from positive psychology terms, Ikigai is about engagement, finding flow, and positive emotions. It's also about relationships and authentic connections, meaning and purposeful existence, as well as a sense of accomplishment. The idea of Ikigai incorporates your life purpose and also refers to the things that make your life worthwhile. On a deeper level, Ikigai refers to the mental and spiritual circumstances under which individuals feel that their lives are valuable as they move forward towards their goals. Finding Ikigai is the process of cultivating your inner potential as you actively pursue what you enjoy doing in service of your family, tribe, and community via your life roles. I believe that by focusing on the little moments and relieving yourself of the burden of big goals and plans, you'll be able to progress just by doing what you love doing. This isn't only a concept I've built around the Japanese principle of Ikigai, but one that's backed by Harvard research as well. Harvard professor Teresa Amabile has developed what she calls the progress principle. Her research shows that real success comes from small wins that build motivation, inspiration, and innovation. In the West, the idea of having big goals sells. I have found that a more Eastern approach of being more process-oriented, embracing the moment, enjoying the journey, type of Shizen lifestyle has allowed me to remain curious and explore this world with fresh eyes. So those were my top 5 Japanese personal growth concepts and ways of developing your Shizen style. In an upcoming video, I want to go deeper on this idea of Ikigai and explore how we can find both our purpose and more flow.